Welcome to Flash Tutorial 28, Coloring Book Part 2. It's a follow-up to Flash Tutorial 27, Coloring Book Part 1, which I have opened on my computer now. Make sure all the layers are locked. Unlock the house layer. Click down somewhere in the frame on stage, select all. Go up to Modify, convert to a symbol, and make sure button is selected and call it house, H-O-U-S-E underscore BTN. Copy that name, open the properties panel, and paste it in here as a instance name. Pick your free transform tool, grab one of the corners, hold your shift down, and make it small. Make the stage 50% so we can see the whole thing, and get that and put that house up there somewhere. Lock that layer, pick up another layer, call it boat. Now I'm calling it boat because that's the image I'm going to be using. I'm selecting frame 1 of that boats layer and I'm drawing a boat. There it is. Putting it over here. While it's selected, up to modify, convert it to a symbol. Again, button should still be selected. Boat, B-O-A-T underscore B-T-N. Copy that. Open the properties panel and paste in that instance name. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm making it smaller by my free transform tool. You may not have to. Now you can make as many of these drawings that you want. I'm going to do 3. And I'll make one more, lock that layer, insert a layer, call it airplane. A-I-R-P-L-A-N-E, and selecting frame 1, and I'm going to draw a airplane. So for my coloring book, I have 3 pages. Highlight that airplane. Highlight that airplane. Modify it to a symbol. And airplane. Underscore BTN. And you know the procedure. Copy it and paste it in as an instance name. Now we're going to make it so that when we select these, whichever one we select, we're going to go to that picture and we'll be able to color it. So let's lock all of our layers. Select the black, blue, and red layers. Get that fuzzy square, I call it, and pull it over so they only appear in frame 2. In frame 1, we don't see them anymore. Do the same with the actions layer. Click on it, get that fuzzy square, drag it to frame 2. So on frame 2 we have the actions script and the 3 colors that I have so far. Let's open frame 1 of the actions panel. There shouldn't be any A in this because there's nothing here. Open up the actions panel and type in this code. It's the code for those buttons we just made. We're starting off with a stop, open and close bracket, semicolon, so it stops on this frame. There's that house underscore BTN, period on press, small o capital P, that turns blue, equals function, open and close bracket for the parameters of the function. There's the open curly bracket for the function, the closed curly bracket for the function, and we're going to put in here 2 things: trace, T-R-A-C-E, open bracket, quotation, house, close quotation, close bracket, semicolon, just to make sure our button works. And in reality, what it's going to do for us is going to allow us to go to frame 2. Go to and stop, small g, small t, capital A, capital S, that turns blue, open bracket, 2, as in frame 2, close bracket, semicolon, and there's the closed curly bracket. Copy that, paste it in, change the word house to boat, put in this trace, change the trace to boat, and make this frame 3. Paste it again, call it airplane instead of house, trace airplane, and go to frame 4. So let's just see if we can test something out right here, right now. And I'm just going to look for traces here. Now notice I have to get right on that for it to work. See, when my cursor turns to that little finger, I have to get right on some of the black lines. But when I do, there's house, and it jumps to that frame 2 for me, because we have something on frame 2. Now let's test it again. This one won't jump to frame 3 because I have nothing on frame 3, but we'll trace boat. It's jumping to frame 2 is what it's doing. And let's test once more. And this one should test plane, airplane. We're going to fix this problem. And those buttons are doing what they're supposed to do. So we can go back into that frame and we can comment out those traces. 2 backslashes here, 2 backslashes here, and 2 backslashes there. Make sure all your layers are locked. And I want to deal with the fact that we had to get that cursor on the drawing part of those buttons. So let's open those buttons one at a time. Let's open the house button. I went into my library, opened the house button. Here it is. Let's make it so we can see it 25%. Let's lock this layer, call it house, and insert a layer. Drag this layer to the bottom, call it tar as in target, T-A-R, target, and select that first frame. Pick up your rectangle tool, make sure you have white for the fill and white for the stroke, and just make something as big as the house like that. So now we have a target around this house. And let's just test that out to make sure it works. Let's see, look. These I have to get right on the line yet. So we're going to do the same to these 2 buttons. So come over to the library panel, open up the boat button. Do the same thing. Call this boat. Lock it. I'm going through these because these are beginner's tutorials and I want you to hear it. The more you hear it, the more likely you're going to learn it. Call it tar. Select that frame. Again, I got the same rectangle tool selected. Select frame 1. That's why I was getting that crazy little pencil. And make a target for my boat. And I'm sure that's going to work. And let's go to the airplane. Call that airplane, A-I-R-P-L-A-N-E. Lock that layer. Insert a layer, drag it to the bottom. Call it tar. Select it. Select the rectangle tool. And now I have targets on all my, and I'm just going to make sure that, test it. No harm in testing every time. That one's working good, that one works good, that's great. Let's go back to scene 1. Pick up selection tool. Let's click on this airplane layer, get on the end, make sure it's not blue, and put BTN. So we know this is the buttons. Do the same for the boat, BTN, and the same for the house, because we're going to have another layer, BTN. Select the airplane layer, insert a layer, call it house. And this is where the actual picture of the house is going to be. So select frame 2 of that layer, insert a blank keyframe, open the library panel, and drag the house button onto here. And if it's not big, make it big. So now there I have a drawing that I can paint. Lock that layer, insert a layer, call it boat, B-O-A-T. Select frame 3, insert a blank keyframe, open the library panel, draw in the boat. There it is. If it's not big enough, get your free transform tool and make it bigger if you wish. Lock that layer, insert another layer. This is going to be the airplane. Select frame 4, insert a blank keyframe, open the library panel, bring in the airplane. And again, size it to make whatever size you want. You may change your mind later on, but right now there's my airplane. We need to have the colors on these 3 frames we created, so make sure all the layers are locked. I'm coming down here, and on frame 4 I want to be. That's on frame 4 right now. And select the black, the blue, the red, and every other layer of color that you may have more than 3. Right click, insert keyframes. So that brings those colors up onto my 3 pictures now. Select the airplane layer, which is the second last highest layer. Insert 3 layers, 1, 2, 3. The bottom of those 3 called brush, B-R-U-S-H-1. The next one called brush 2, B-R-U-S-H-2. And this one brush 3, B-R-U-S-H-3. These are going to be paint brushes that we're going to allow different sizes. Lock them all except this brush 1, and we want to be on frame 2 of brush 1, insert keyframe. As a matter of fact, we can go for these 3 all at once, right click, insert. It can be keyframes or blank keyframes, it doesn't matter at this point. Now I just have brush 1 selected. I'm picking up my oval tool, and I want a black for my stroke, and I want a grayish color for my fill, and I'm going to make a little oval right here. Pick up my selection tool, highlighting it, modifying it, converting it to a symbol, making sure a button is selected again, and just call it brush, B-R-U-S-H _ BTN, and OK. Now I didn't copy it that time because I'm going to give it a different instance name. Open up the properties panel while it's still selected and call this brush 1, B-R-U-S-H-1 _ BTN. Lock that layer, unlock layer, the brush layer 2, frame 2. We have a keyframe there. Open the library panel, drag that brush in, put it beside that one. Pick up your free transform tool. I'm going to make this my stage a little bigger so I can see these. And holding my shift down, I'm making this one a little bit bigger. I'm going to highlight it with my selection tool. Open the properties panel up. It's brush button, but I'm going to call it the instance brush, B-R-U-S-H-2 _ BTN. We're using that same button over and over again. Now this is the third one. Unlock this layer, select that frame 2, draw that brush in one more time, free transform tool, and make it bigger. And if you had wanted more sizes, you could do that. Make sure it's selected with the selection tool, open the properties panel, and this is brush 3, B-R-U-S-H-3 _ BTN. And you can spend some time lining them up if you wish. And you may have more sizes than what I have. Make sure all the layers are locked. Select frame 2 of the actions layer. Now we're going to write the code that allows us to use those brush size buttons. Oops. Open the actions panel and right after this second variable. Type, 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 type. Brush 1 underscore btn on release. Capital, small o, capital R equals the function. Open, close bracket. There's the open bracket for the function. There's the close bracket. And when we press that, we're going to make this line, which is the thickness of the paintbrush, a 1. So line equals 1. And at the same time, come up here and let's make that variable 1 back to 1. Copy that, paste it, change the brush 1 to brush 2, and make the line equal to 3. Make sure there's a semicolon after that. Make sure there's an open curly bracket and a closed curly bracket on each of these. There's the open curly bracket, the closed curly bracket. Paste it again. This time it's going to be brush 3, and the line size is going to be 5. Now let's just try that out. This is a good point in time to try this out. We should be able to make the house paintable. Click on the house. There's red. Nice small thin line for my red. If I click this, it should get a little bit bigger. Yeah. Let's pick the black up. Make it big, big. Back to red, big. Very good. And notice if you drag on here with the color, you're going to pick up and just put it on. It's just like it would be a painting pad. There's still paint on your brush, so to speak. Now we have to add this code to the next 2 frames. So if I click here, insert a blank keyframe. Here, insert a blank keyframe. Go through this frame A. This is the way I prefer to do it. Copy all this. So I'm in this frame 2. Open the Actions panel. Right click, select all. Right click, copy. Close it off. Go into this frame here, frame 3. Open the panel, paste it. Go to frame 4. Open the panel and paste it. Now let's see what problems this gives us. First of all, I can select and about. I pick up the red. That works. That works. That works. The bigger brush. And there. There's no problem here if I want to do just one painting and stop. But let's say I want to do stop that one and do another one. Select the top layer, in this case brush 3, insert a layer, call it menu, M-E-N-U, B-T-N. This is where the menu button is going to go. Select frame 2, insert a keyframe or blank keyframe, and now come down the bottom here, and we're going to utilize the same button, which was the brush button. I'm going to bring that on the stage. Put it over here, make it a little bit larger, and up here in the properties panel, give it the name MENU underscore BTN. So we use that button in more than one spot. And naturally, because this is all filled in, you can see that button is going to be on all those frames. Now we need the code for that button. So select frame 2 of the Actions layer and open the Actions panel. Click on the second variable, insert a couple of lines, and type. Menu underscore BTN, that's that button we just made. Period on release equals function, exactly the same what we've been doing. Open and close bracket, open curly bracket for the function, close curly bracket. I only put these traces in if I have problems. We're going to say go to and stop, G-O-T-O, and stop, small g, small t, capital A, capital S, open bracket, 1, close bracket, semicolon. So this is going to send us back to frame 1 where we can select which picture we want to paint. Copy that, right click, copy it. Open this next frame 3 action panel, go to the top, paste it in, go to frame 4, right click, paste it in. Let's test this out and see if any problems arise. I can click on the house. I can pick a fat brush, blue, and paint the house. I can pick a skinnier brush and paint it. This should send me back to frame 1. But notice what happens. The paint doesn't disappear. So now we got to find a way of getting rid of that paint. So let's go back to the frame 1. Make sure all my layers are locked. Frame 1 of the actions layer. Open the actions panel. And at the very top here, after this stop, type this code. And we've already used this code. It creates this drawing. It creates a blank movie clip. So this period create empty movie clip, small t period, small c, capital E, capital M, capital C, turns blue, open bracket, quotations, drawing underscore MC, close quotation, then a comma, and this means wherever we are now, wherever we are here, again, get next highest step. Small g, capital N, capital H, capital D, all that turns blue. And I'm not sure that just saying that will work every time. So I'm going to say get not highest depth plus 20. So that for sure we're not going to be piling these things on top of one another for sure. Open bracket, close bracket, close bracket. These two are part of the parameters. This closed bracket belongs to this opened one here, and a semicolon. So now let's go to frame 2 of the actions panel. Open that up, and down here where we have that similar, create this empty movie clip, H. Let's make this depth, instead of just straight get next step plus 5. Go back to the timeline, pick up this frame 3, and now this is going to be not the house, this is the boat one. So in that same line where I have this empty movie clip, change that capital H to a capital B, so it's a whole new movie clip we're going to generate. Make the depth here plus 10, so we're definitely not interfering with each other. And the last one, which is the airplane, open that actions panel, change this to an A, and make this one plus 15. Now if you have more than 3 drawings, you may end up having to space these further. You may have to go like 20, 40, 60, 80. I'm not exactly sure how that works. Now that we changed those movie clip names, we have to go down here and change them here where we're actually using them. So that H becomes an A, this H an A, and this one an A. That satisfies that airplane. Open up the 3rd frame, and this is the boat, I believe. Yeah, boat. So make that H a B, this H B, same thing here for this one, and then one more, and I think this one's probably already done for us. Yes. So let's test this out. Let's pick the house, pick some blue. Blue works. Make a bigger brush and some black. Black works. Let's go back. That's good. Pick up the airplane. The blue works. Middle brush. The red works. And sure the boat works. Pick up blue, big brush. Middle brush, black. And that's good. I suggest that you make one of your colors a white, and you could use it as an eraser to erase if it goes over the line. I hope you learned something from this tutorial, and I hope you use what you learn.